is there any particular dangers for managers that are dealing with people that are maybe doing repetitive tasks or automated tasks on a daily basis? You'd mentioned some things in the previous time we've spoken about that, which I thought was quite interesting.
Well, it's rather like in the days of running factories where you're dealing with a large workforce that may be factory-based. There tended to be in these days repetitive tasks, and it's that old phrase, idle minds are the playground of the devil, that if you leave someone who kicks a handle 50 times a day and that's their only job, there's a vacuum in their mind and they will fill it with their imagination. Whether that be good, bad or indifferent, they'll be more likely to be influenced by people. So if there's a negative union environment at that particular time, then their vacuum will be filled for that. So the key to break that, I remember in running one factory, I would spend after Christmas, New Year, for the first 3 days between the shop floor and the office, and maybe I had about 250 people, I would walk around and speak to everyone, ask them what they had done, what their interests were, so I'd get to know them as a person that was deeper, and I'd always find something. I'd be leaving them to say, well, what are you doing today? And they say, I'm machining this component. I remember a chap, Willie Ingram, said to me, I've got a problem with this machine because every time I do this, that handle drops and I've always got to lift it back up. I said, I'll get that fixed, Willie. And he said, that'd be great. And I remember going to the maintenance manager who said, but Willie's doing nothing. Therefore, why would you want to fix his handle? Because he's just watching a piece of metal rotating round a vertical boring mill. I said, well, doing it because I promised Willie I would fix it. And that's all part of trust. You've got to be credible, you can get it fixed, and reliable, you will get it fixed. And what's your self-interest in doing that? I've got no self-interest because you've got the time to do that, Willie. But I'm interested in you as a person, not as what it gives me. And that was a phenomenal lesson for me, was that you can engage with people if you're interested in what they're doing, and never think because they're in a mindless task, their mind's not working. Yeah. It's working on something. How can you get that mind engaged in thinking, he's actually a good managing director because he actually helps us. After that, we got inundated with people that wanted things fixed. And I said, is that not a great thing? We've now got an engaged workforce. And in an engaged workforce, they are going to trust us. And there'll be a point in time where we will need to use that trust.
Do you think there's something in the fact that if everybody's busy and there's things going on, that people actually feel a little bit more secure? The reason I mention that is I read recently in one of the car companies, again, unions are getting a little bit nervous because projects and programs are getting slashed, and there's just something, everybody's a little bit easier if they realise that there's work coming in. It might not be great to be overworked, but maybe it's slightly better to be overworked than it is to be idle.
Yes, well, in this same factory, one of the issues I had, the people felt they were underpaid, and early on I said, well, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to guarantee you'll be the best paid in the area, and Rolls-Royce was just a stone's throw away from us, so that was a big commitment. And I said, the condition is there'll be no demarcation other than ability, and I reserve the right to train you. And I had to gain their trust, so I involved them in aspects of running that factory. So we created a line for a component in an electrical motor called a rotor, and we managed to reduce the time from 7 weeks to about 6 days. And we did that by saying, if you see a machine that's busy, go to that machine and do the work on that machine rather than you're stuck on that particular machine. So for me, the commitment of these people was they wanted to be involved in other things. The fact of the matter is, I guaranteed them no one will lose their job as a result of this change. If there's a fall in the marketplace, that's different. But if we make time where we've actually got 50% of our time is idle, then I'm happy with that because we're in no worse position than we were. So your job is to do whatever's needed to be done. And if that means changing your working practices to make you efficient, I'm going to disassociate the change and pain cycle that you've had and say, you make a change, there'll be no pain. And I said, I'll guarantee that, and you've got that in writing. And that allowed them to break the barriers of demarcation, thinking, this is one job, one machine, that protects our jobs too. Yeah. In actual fact, we create efficiencies. that will allow us to sell more things at a more cost-effective price, and guess what? You'll be even busier and more secure.